Okay, I've got a surface here, and you can see there's a whole bunch of CAD points that are all around the outside. And this was just a piece of sheet metal that the customer wanted to create a bunch of trim measurements around the outside of it, around the perimeter, from these CAD points that were received from the customer. So we have a handy little command that will take all these points and do our surface analysis or trim analysis, and basically will create measurements where these CAD points are. So to do that, we would say hot plus points and get them on the hot list. And then we type in a command /pound, you can see down at the bottom in the command line area, /pound SFTA for automatic trim analysis, comma, mesh, comma, master, mast, comma, prog, to put them in a program. And then if we hit enter, you can see it analyzed all the points and created all these trim measurements. And you can see over in the programming browser, we have all these trim measurements that were created. Now, the only problem is if you look at the program graphically, the order of these is kind of messed up. They're not kind of going around the part nice and neatly. In fact, they're going in the program in the order that they're on the hot list. That's important. That's key. They're in the order that they are in the hot list. Now, when we put these points on the hot list originally, we just used the command hot plus points. So we didn't really specify an order to put them on the hot list. We just said, hey, put them all on the hot list. And by doing that, it actually, the order that it uses is that the order that the points were created in the database. So in the database, obviously these points were not originally created kind of going around the part. So what we have to do, I'm just going to do an undo here and get rid of all those guys here and go back to where we were. And I'm going to just take all these, instead of going hot plus points, we're going to use another method of making them hot. And we're going to put them on the action line and then we're going to say use the hot plus pick command. So I'm just going to go down to action line here and say put hot under the view command, view action line, put hot on action line, and I want points. And when I'm going to specify the sort method, and that's how we're going to put them on the action line, I'm going to specify minimum. So it means it's going to, when it goes to the next point, it's going to look for the minimum distance. So which would end up giving us placing an action line all the way around the outside of the part in a nice order. So I'm going to say minimum. That's a nice way to sort it. And the penalty factor, the default is 1. We're just going to leave that. You don't even really need to touch it. So what it wants us to do is to pick the first 2 points. So I'm just going to zoom up here. And, oh, by the way, to put the hot on the action line, I should have made the points hot first. So let me go back and do that. Hot plus points. Okay, so the points are hot. Now we're going to do that command view, action line, and we're going to say put hot on action line. And we'll say the points, minimum, and we'll say the penalty factor. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to zoom up here. I'm just going to pick the first 2. I'm going to start here and go in this direction. So I'm going to pick the first 2 points. Okay, and having done that, I'm going to hit enter. And you can barely see a faint white line going all the way around the part here. You can see it cutting the corners. So all these hot points are now on the action line. So we don't want these hot points in the order we made them hot because we just said hot plus points. So let's take them off the hot list. So I'm going to say hot minus all. But we still have them picked. They're still on the action line. So now what we can do is there's a hot plus pick command. So we took them off the hot list, and now we're putting them back on the hot list, but in a different method. We're saying put them back on the hot list, but based on this, use this action line now that we've created, where we've picked them all. So now I'm going to say hot plus picked. And now they're back on the hot list, but they're on the hot list based on the order of the action line that went all the way around the part. So now I can type in /pound SFTA, mesh, mast, prog, and there we go. We've got all of our trim measurements, and you can see them. It's nice, neat order going all the way around the part. So we've got a nice, clean program that we've created.